So chances are you're scratching up your car on a daily basis. And in that process, it's going to make it look bad and you're losing resale value as well. How do you want to avoid that? Well, stay tuned. We're going to go over some of those details next. Hi, I'm Todd Cooprider with the Esoteric channel. We are here today to help you keep your car looking better. And with the title of the video, Paint is Delicate, Do Not Touch It, that's exactly what we mean. The first thing you look at this car, it is a very dirty version of a vehicle. You wouldn't expect that to see it here in the shop. But that is when your car is most susceptible to scratching, is when it is dirty, because you have got abrasive stuff all over it that you touch it and you can scratch the finish. Even on a perfectly clean, perfectly polished car, we've talked about in other videos, you can take your finger, lightly go across the surface, and you can scratch it. I know there's a lot of people out there saying, Todd, you're crazy. I'm not scratching up my car. Well, there's a difference between micro scratching or micro marring and scratching. And we're gonna put a shot here on the screen. On one side, you're gonna see micro marring, and the other side, you're gonna see a scratch that most people think about. And what happens when you start building up those micro scratches, over time, you look at it in the sunshine, it looks like spider webbing. That is all the swirls, all those micro scratches coming together. They build up over time, the car does not look good, and like I said, it's going to lose value. So I wanted to go over a few things on the car so that you can keep it looking better for longer. Like I said, we don't want to touch the paint. There's really no need to touch the paint at all. When you're washing it, you want to make sure you're using the proper washing, drying media. You want to be as delicate as possible. Anytime people are handling it, or you go to car shows, you get people wanting to touch cars. Why are people at car shows, the owners of the cars, so concerned about that? Because they realize it is scratching in the process. So we're gonna start out here at the front of the car, and we're gonna go around a few areas where people usually have problems with it and show you a couple of tricks to help you prevent touching. First of all, if you ever need to get in the hood of the car, sometimes it can be like a BMW, you've got a nice emblem right there. You can use that to push down on it to lock it into place. Here in this Honda, we don't have that. So what we're gonna do is we're just gonna take it from a higher level, drop it to completely close. If you have got a hood that doesn't completely close that way, then take a microfiber towel, put it on the surface, and gently push down. You don't want to scrape across the surface. So that is one big area you're typically going to find problems. And now, let's move over to the side of the car. Okay, over here on the side of the car, this is where you're gonna find most of the problems. Every car that we have come in here for paint polishing, we always look in this area and you can tell how much somebody handled the paint. First of all, this door handle. I ask this question all the time, whether it's groups, clubs, or even pose that question to a factory I was giving a presentation to. But what is the door handle for? It's for opening the car door, right? Well, what else is it for? It's for closing the door. So as I open it, and when I get out of the car, I'm gonna come right back over here, grab the handle, push it closed like this. You're not gonna scratch this up. Even if this is a painted one, it's gonna be really difficult to see anything on it. Whereas if you're shutting the door from up here, so many people do, every time you're shutting it, you're swiping across the surface, you're grinding dirt in, and this area up here is always going to look really bad. So whether you have passengers in the car, you know, my son who's 19 now, since he was 5 years old, I've had him trained when he gets out of the door, only use the door handle to shut it. And you're not asking too much if you have passengers in the car to make sure and let them know that. Another big area here is the B-pillars. Now this one is a plastic one, but a lot of cars out there have polished B-pillars. We looked around the shop, everything, all the employees' cars, all the customers' cars, we didn't have any polished ones here to use as an example, but we're going to put a link up at the top here for a video on polishing B-pillars. So when you have this, this is another popular area. People just want to grab a hold of it and shut it that way. You end up scratching these up badly, and if you've got one that's painted, polished black, that stuff scratches extremely easily. So avoid touching here, only use the door handle. And one other area of concern is up here across this A-pillar. A lot of times people want to grab a hold of it, getting in and out of the car. All you're doing is scratching it up. So we've addressed the side of the car. Let's go around to the back and show you some points of concerns back there. All right, now back here to the trunk area, whether it's a regular trunk like this or a hatchback on an SUV, there are plenty of places that we commonly see issues with people touching. Next time you get to a stoplight, look at the car in front of you. Chances are down here below the license plate, you're going to see all these finger marks in the dirt, and every one of those areas, if you took a light and inspect it, there's going to be scratches underneath. Or people are grabbing it up here. But when you look at this, you have a lot of places to safely close it. The first and best is just grabbing a hold of the license plate, pushing down on it, closing it there if it doesn't have an automatic close. The other areas you can look at, if you've got a chrome trim or a piece here, these are far less likely to show any kind of scratches or marring or defects if you use that to close it. SUVs in particular, there's a lot of them out there. Everybody wants to grab a hold of the painted part. There's usually handles underneath that you can grab it and kind of pull it. So just avoid putting your hands on any of the painted areas, because especially when you're talking about intricate areas like this is a little bit more challenging to polish all them out because it's a smaller surface, but you're going to cause a lot of issues there. Well, hopefully we pointed out quite a few areas on the car that are going to be problematic, but by changing a few different ways on how you're handling your car, you're going to keep it looking good for a much longer period of time. Once again, resale value is going to stay a little bit higher too. Now, if you do have swirls, micro scratches in all these areas, you got a couple of options. One, come see us here at Esoteric Detail. We can polish your paint out for you. But if you want to do it yourself, we're going to link you to a couple of videos here. One of them is going to be on our one-step polishing kit. Everything that you need to be able to do it at home. The other one is going to be 5 tips on polishing so that you get the most out of that kit that you just bought. We definitely appreciate your time. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, hit the bell to get notified of new videos coming out.